my presentation and report also was prepared in terms of the traineeship. I will try to explain it in 5 or 7 minutes. I made it especially for Boryspil International Airport. So at the second day of my traineeship, I received a task which was to increase capacity in Boryspil Airport from 45 to 80 movements per hour, taking into account safety, environmental issues, and how to increase efficiency to minimize costs to airlines. You can see the chart of the Boryspil Airport. As you can see, we have 2 independent parallel runways, usually operating in the mixed mode, 2 parallel taxiways, declared capacity of 45 movements per hour, and in average 84 routes. Also, we have 3 terminals, 2 in construction, and the tower is located in the middle of 2 runways. To increase capacity in Boryspil Airport, first of all, it was necessary to analyze what are the constraints to capacity growth. And all of them were put in 5 main groups. First one is runways and taxiways, second apron and parking, passenger service, and traffic control and environment. For each of the problems in all groups, I proposed some remedial actions. And then these remedial actions were estimated by their impact on capacity improvement and by cost. You can see the fragment of the table is just a small piece. As you can see, for example, the problem is taxiway design. And I propose to replace one taxiway by another or to reconstruct, and I also estimate what would be the impact on capacity and the cost. After I put together all the remedial actions, I formulated some clusters. Cluster it is some scenario which contains a group of remedial actions which can, after implementation, provide the result of 80 movements per hour. Short-term cluster 1 is the most expensive, short-term cluster 2 less expensive, short-term cluster 3 is relatively cheap, and medium-term cluster is maybe used just for future development. So also I had to choose one best cluster and to propose it like a solution. I was looking at remedial impact on capacity, time necessary for gaining benefits, and of course cost. And I came to the conclusion that the short-term cluster 3 would be the best solution, as comprising only of operational improvements, no infrastructural improvements. It is relatively cheap, but still absolutely available to provide 80 movements per hour. So it includes such solutions like review the AAP, a web-based campaign and leaflet for pilots, reduce radar separation, training of air traffic controllers on efficient procedures, review SIDs, quiet drop seats, efficient sequencing and multiple lineup, and use bus runway, as one runway is not very used. And also to consider infrastructural improvements of short-term cluster 1 and 2, I propose to replace taxiway 13 by 2 reds, to displace the threshold to minimize the distance from the landing to the red. For medium jets, it will be optimum. To construct holding bays for efficient sequencing, to expand apron to provide enough parking positions, and the reconstruction of new terminals. Reconstruction of old terminals and construction of new terminals, which already started, actually. But still, short-term cluster 3 is not the sole solution. If you have an unlimited budget, or in other words, you have a lot of money, you usually can choose short-term cluster 1. considered the steps to increase runway safety, to deal with environmental issues, proposed some ways to increase efficiency, like continuous descent approach, like airport collaborative decision making, which is already started, and advanced surface movement guidance and control system, ASMGCS, which is planned to be implemented until 2014 or